This is LCC Radio and TV. It's good to have you along, and we're going to talk poetry. We have in the studio Rina Risper, of course, she's the biggest part of poetry in the city, and also the president and publisher of the New Citizens Press. How's that going?
It's going pretty good. I mean, we're going to be moving to a more online format. I probably have thousands more followers online.
Isn't that amazing how it has happened? I mean, it's changed. I mean, I like newspapers. I like the feel of the newspaper and to open it up and so forth and read it and maybe archive it, if you will. But everything is online these days.
It's been absolutely amazing. My readership has grown exponentially, globally.
That's
and
great.
You can correct online easier than you can correct a newspaper. Right. It's out there for a week, and then you have to worry about it. But newspapers have to really make a change to deal with what's going on in today's environment.
Sure.
And besides, the tariff, most newspaper paper is coming from Canada.
I never thought about that, yeah. That's going to raise the price a little bit, isn't it? But yours is a free paper, right?
It is a free paper, which makes it even more interesting.
But somebody's got to pay for that paper.
25% rise in prices as a result of the Canadian paper issue. So what better time than now?
Yeah. So if people want to go online to check it out, the Citizens Press, where would they find that?
They would find it at www.tncp.net. And also we're on Facebook. I think I'm on Facebook every day posting new content. We have TNCP tips, and we tell you about, how to manage your salt intake.
Very good.
Things about your skin and wearing something to protect it, your SPF factor.
Mm-hmm.
Even things about the rice production and how much percentage each country has, just for, ways to engage in.
It's interesting information. It really
different
is.
Different types of conversation. So we also post a lot of local information about what's going on, the car show that's going on downtown,
right. Mm-hmm.
The eating event. I can't remember the name of it, but
the Taste of Lansing.
Taste of Lansing.
Right.
Everything for me is eating. Okay, that's it.
It sounds like there's a lot of food involved in that newspaper.
There's a lot of food involved. I just went to the Kingston restaurant in Okemos and checked them out.
How's that? Pretty good?
Oh my gosh, I'm from the Caribbean, so I was in there. I was dying. It was really great, and we're going to be in the process of helping them find a reggae band.
Oh, that's cool.
So your world gets a little crazy after a while when you become that connector.
When you start meeting people, I mean, things do kind of expand a little bit, don't they?
It really does. It really does, which also opens you up to getting more poets and different kinds of poets. We have had so many friends through poetry. Different poetry, religious poetry,
mm-hmm.
hip-hop poetry, slam poetry. The only thing that we request is no offensive language,
right.
or language that would be deemed inappropriate for children or against someone else. If you don't like a specific group, then I suggest you choose another poem about love.
That's the way it should be. I mean, they keep the politics, keep everything out of it. Just let it be pure.
Just let it be pure, and that's what it's a moment. It's 2 hours of just being able to say, I performed on the Capitol steps. You have 3 minutes. Make it good. Make sure you have your video camera, because you're going to want to show it to your kids or your grandchildren that you performed on the Capitol steps. This is an amazing opportunity. We live in the capital
mm-hmm.
of Michigan.
That's exactly right.
I don't know any other place that really has this type of opportunity. So we're going back to back on July 19th, Thursday, July 19th. It's been a tradition to
mm-hmm.
celebrate my son Amir's birthday. Every July that we do the Poetry in the City, his birthday actually this year is on the 19th. So we always have Rosemary from Detroit aka One Single Rose, sing happy birthday to all of July birthdays. It's
Very good.
tradition.
Very good.
So it's just been a really amazing opportunity. I'm looking forward to it. And this year's going to be super special.
That's very good. We have in the studio a poet that's going to be on stage. Rene'e is with us. And Rebecca, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am an Albion, Michigan native. I'm married to a wonderful man, Bobby Hardy. We have 6 children together. I've been writing since I was 14. I have been honored to perform many places. Albion College, Adrian College, Oakland University, University of Michigan Flint. I'm on a mixtape in Atlanta. I've been writing since I was 14, and what started it was basically, I was riding with my mom, and we saw a group of African American males on the corner, and they were just standing there. And I mean, it's something that you see every day. But I was enraged, and I went home and I wrote and I wrote and I wrote, and that was the beginning of my writing career. I wrote a love letter to my African brothers, and it was entitled Brighter Day, and I was just encouraging them to get off of the street corner and do something.
That's interesting. Did you ever feel that you had some poetry in you, even when you were going to elementary school or whatever, before this event took place?
I was homeschooled, and so I was really sheltered, and I was honestly just in my big sister's shadow, because she was a part of the Battle Creek Symphony Orchestra, and she was traveling to Japan, and I was just Grace's little sister. So it really wasn't until that point that I felt like I had any kind of calling. I just was wondering what I was supposed to be doing in life.
So do you do a lot of different types of poetry? I mean, is there a theme that runs through most of your poetry?
Well, I am a Christian, but I write about my life, and there's a lot of my life that is very colorful. So I write what I'm going through at the moment, and hopefully people can relate to it. Not everything is Christian, but the majority is definitely faith-based.
Wow. Well, we look forward. Maybe you can do a little poetry for us before we leave here, if you will. We have in the studio, just walked in, Kortney. Kortney, I'm sorry I didn't get your name at the beginning of the show.
Oh, no, it's fine. I went to the wrong building.
You went to the wrong building? People do that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Kortney, are you going to be on the agenda this evening?
Yes.
Okay, and tell us a little bit about yourself and your poetry.
Well, I'm Kortney. I'm Southside Lansing, born and raised. Been here my whole life. I'm finishing up at MSU. I'm about to graduate in August. I've been writing ever since I can remember. I was writing poetry when I was in elementary school. It's something that's always followed me throughout my life. It's always something I come back to. It's definitely my creative outlet. I'm more of an introverted, quiet type of person, so vocally expressing myself wasn't always my strong suit, so
Right.
I got to strengthen that through my poetry. And recently I've gotten into spoken word, which is how I met Rina. Yeah, and it's just something that gives me autonomy. It allows me to put words to things that I wouldn't be able to vocally express, and I love it. I mean, it's my favorite thing. I love that with poetry there's no rules. You can
Right.
really do whatever you want.
Exactly.
You can take a pen to paper and just create anything. So that's what I love about it. It's definitely my passion. And yeah.
You know, it's interesting, Rina. We talk about poetry. A lot of people think, well, it has to rhyme. But it does not have to rhyme. It's a story, basically,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's not only is it a story, but it's a performance. It's a performance because right now I'm consulting individuals who write books, and one of my clients had this long sheet of paper with a page of her book on it. And I took a pen, I crossed all this out, and I said, and when you say, I asked him, breathe in and tell him, I asked him if he really wanted to get married.
So there is a way to present your poetry.
So important.
Absolutely. Words really have this way of growing legs when you can actually feel them and present them in a way that people connect with.
That's interesting because a lot of people would think, well, you just speak, but there is a certain inflection with every word that makes it special.
There is, and there's also things that help you to remember. If you have the word
That's very
sun,
true.
you point at the sky,
Mhm.
and your body will take you right through the poem. Your heart, my soul, and whatever it is, whatever hand movements you make, it becomes a part of that poem and helps you to actually remember your lives.
That's a great idea. That's a great idea. Now, Rebecca and Kortney, have you ever done the poetry in the city here in the Lansing area?
I have
before?
not.
No, I haven't.
So this
I'm
is
very
all
excited.
brand new, huh?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, you're going to have a beautiful night, that's for sure. Now, did someone bring some poetry with them they would like to read today on the air?
Did you bring some poetry, Kortney?
I'm going to have some. So, yeah, sure.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead? I'm sure she's got it on her telephone. That
Of
makes sense,
course.
right? Things have changed.
That's
aren't
the
they?
new thing.
I know. Things
I
have
write on everything, on napkins and journals. Sometimes I get inspired at work and write an email. So
So we're just going to do a little piece of your poem and do a little piece of your
Sounds
poem.
good.
And, then we'll move on to telling everybody when it's going to be.
Yep.
okay. Do you already have something prepared?
I do.
Go ahead. She
Okay,
knows
'cause I
hers
wrote
off the
it.
top of her
Okay.
head.
Okay. This poem is entitled Run, and it was actually inspired by a worship song entitled Run by Freddie Rodriguez. So I would encourage you all to look that up. Run. Forever I will run. Unto you, O God. Now you have my heart and every other part of me. It took me a while to surrender, but Lord, here is all of me, and I'm running. I'm done sprinting because that meant that I'd be on fire for a minute till I fell back into former yokes of bondage. But where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. And it is your Spirit, Lord, that's engulfed me with a fire that radiated off me, breaking every chain off me, freeing me to keep running. I said no more sprinting for me because you've called me to run in spiritual maturity, the ability to run the distance. So regardless of the mountain peaks or how deep the valleys of my life reach, Lord, I believe I'll run on and see what the end gonna be. Regardless of what people think, Lord, search me and find that there is no retreat left in me. I'm done running because they don't think I'm worthy to stand in your presence. No, I'm going to keep running till death or I'm raptured into heaven. Forever I will run unto you, O God. Where else can I go? You are home to me. Nobody else even understands me, but you know the number of these follicles springing from my cranium. So every day I will run this race because I just want to hear you say, well done.
You're going to get some hallelujahs after that, I can tell you that. Sounds like a prayer, it really does.
And that's how I pray. I write out my prayers,
That's
and they end
wonderful.
up being poems.
That is very cool. Kortney, what do you think? You got something for us?
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the Wi-Fi to get
Okay. Yeah, you got to
usually
give
what
it.
happens
That's a
when
problem. We're in the basement too, so
the
it may or
basement
may not
makes
come
it
up.
really complicated, but I wanted to let everyone know too that I started this little library. And over the years, I've given out about 14,000 books, I calculated.
Wow.
It has been really amazing. Last year, I had a program called Read to Succeed, Write to Ignite, and we had 250 dictionaries and 250 thesauruses that we gave out.
No kidding.
Oh, yeah, it was pretty interesting. So the program ran from February to June in the Lansing School District. But then I decided, well, my program is over, so I want a little library. I posted on Facebook, and a week later, someone built me a little library.
Did they really?
So I am going to be bringing the little library to Poetry in the City so that people who come can sign the inside of the little library. So I'll always have that.
What
to
a great
remember.
idea.
Oh, yeah, it's been really, really great.
Are you ready, Kortney?
Yes,
Okay,
I am.
here we go.
Okay. The mice on South Washington Street never sleep. It's always a party with their heated attic and carpeted floor, the chomping and chewing in the middle of the night, the constant scurrying through the hole in the wood-paneled wall, sinking their teeth in misplaced belongings, shredding shoeboxes, tattering already torn clothes. The girl that lives above them never sleeps. How could she rest peacefully over the sound of their antics once one of them got lost and wound up in bed with her? What a dichotomy, a mouse with a mattress, a girl with mice in her sheets, when a rodent is better off than you. People ask if she has a room of her own, and she says she shares it with about 7 others. She finds more solace on the couch when she's closer to the ground and they're 12 steps above her head. It's like the ultimate role reversal. How her family scavenges through others' trash while they rearrange her room. The mice are living so lavishly for being the personification of poverty. They sunk their teeth in her door so deeply that the lock no longer fits her key. But what's a home to someone who's never had one? Years later, she lives with a girl that started traveling the world when she was in diapers and whose parents could pay her college tuition in full. And this girl begs her to let a pet rat come into their house. She explains that her dad had one and would let the rat climb in bed with him every night. The girl laughs and says they'd sleep so well together.
A lot of different inspiration for poetry. Going to be here in the Lansing area, down at the Capitol, 7 to 9 p.m. So people just show up. They want to
just show
maybe
up.
A blanket or chair would be
Rain
appropriate.
or shine, blanket or chair. It's free.
Yeah.
You can sign up to read a poem, or you don't have to. You can write on a piece of paper right there and then ask to go up. But if you are a poet or considering writing, I would suggest you write beforehand, because our poets always inspire the audience.
Very good. Rina, it's always a pleasure seeing you. Good
Same.
luck. Appreciate you
Thank
coming
you.
in. You're going to have a beautiful night on Thursday. Brecca, thank you for
Thank you so
sharing your
much for the
poetry with us. And
opportunity.
Kortney, thank you very much.
Of course.
We're going to be right back. This is LCC Radio and TV.